Afternoon, folks. I'm Dave Canterbury with Self-Reliance Outfitters in the Pathfinder School. I'm back down here at the Pathfinder Outdoor Classroom today. And what we're going to do is we're going to assemble a Pathfinder Knife Shop knife kit. And we're going to use all hand tools to do this with. And I'm going to step-by-step walk you through the process of making your own knife. We've had lots of requests over the last couple of years to bring back knife kits to our website. And now that we've moved our website back from pks.com to selfrelianceoutfitters.com, and they're no longer two separate sites, and we've increased our production capabilities within the knife shop a little bit, we've decided to offer kits again on one particular model, and we'll see how it goes, how they sell, and we'll go from there, okay? So what I want to do today was I want to walk you through this process of assembling this knife. It comes with a secondary grind already on the knife, so it's down to a wire edge. All you really need is a good strop to get the job done of making this thing a razor blade, and you need to put the handles on there and customize them the way you want to. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. We're going to use all hand tools, so stay with me. We'll get started. Let's first speak to the knife kit itself, okay? When you open the box, you've got a bubble-wrapped knife blade in here. That is completely saran wrapped because it's been oiled. It's a really nice bushcraft design knife, and it's got a blade cover on it. You're gonna need that blade cover later to hold on to this thing while you're working with it. So that's the first thing you get in this kit, a well-protected knife blank. Again, taken down to a wire edge with a secondary grind. You get a set of scales. These are curly maple scales. You can see the curl in them. We're going to customize these scales a little bit in this video, so you won't be able to see that curly maple as much anymore anyway when we're done. But we're gonna do something really cool I wanna show you. And then you've got a pin and a ferrule. This is a 2-pin knife handle, basically like all the knives at Pathfinder Knife Shop for the most part are 2 pins. You've got one solid pin, one ferrule that you can put a lanyard in. And then you also get a Pathfinder Knife Shop sticker in the box, okay? So those are your knife components. What we're gonna work with first is gonna be the handle material and the knife blank. And let's talk about the tools real fast we're gonna need to complete this kit. It's pretty simple. We're gonna use a coping saw to cut our handle out. We're going to use some clamps here to hold things in place and hold things together when we're gluing up our handles while we're cutting things. We've got multiple different grits of sanding pads here from rough, medium, and fine. We've got some extra coping saw blades here. And we have a set of drill bits, and we're gonna use a hand drill to drill these holes with. And then we've got some Gorilla Glue here that we're gonna use for our handles. And then I've got one more tool we're gonna use later on for our handle. And we'll talk about that and some stain. You don't need a whole lot of stuff to get this job done. You certainly don't have to have power tools. Although, if you have an electric or battery powered drill, it's gonna make this part much easier. If you have some kind of an electric saw, electric coping saw or something like that, it'll make cutting your handles out easier, but we've got the handles designed and set up so that there's not very much to take off of them to begin with that you can't do with a simple coping saw and a knife. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna take this knife and we're going to unwrap it from the cellophane. And this is a little bit tedious. I realize that, and our knives come this way too. Our finished knives come with this cellophane on them, and that's really there to protect them and keep that oil on them in the transport process. And if you can find the end of that and keep from tearing it in the process, it makes this stuff a lot easier to get off of there. Once you find that end, then you can basically just unwrap the knife and it will come out. If you try to tear the stuff off a piece at a time, you're gonna be there a while and you're gonna get frustrated, all right? So we're gonna take that off. We'll put the handles back in the box for right now. And we're gonna go ahead and put this protector on the blade. You got a really nice 3/16 thick blade there, 1095. Like I said, already heat treated and ground to a very fine grind with just the wire edge left on it so we can strop this thing right into shape, not a problem, okay? So now, let's get our handle material out here and start to lay out our handles. And what we're gonna do here is we're going to take one side of these scales, we're gonna lay our knife on top of there where we want this handle to land. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna put it right at the edge of the ricasso here, right there. And that's where I want my handle to end, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay this on here so that it's right to the edge of that ricasso right there, all right? So I'm on the edge of the ricasso here. I'm lined up with the top, and if I put it at an angle on here, and I touch the top as well up here, then I'm not gonna have as much to remove, and it's gonna be fairly simple. Then I'm going to make sure that everything's lined up exactly the way I want it. I'm gonna draw that out, trace it out, just like this, with a pencil. I don't have to worry about that. I'm only cutting this part off, okay? And what I end up with is this, okay? And this right here is the only thing we have to remove. You could remove most of this with just a knife if you had to, okay? Easy enough. We're gonna use a coping saw to do part of this work and remove the majority of this, okay? We'll cut the corners off, we'll cut the slot out here with a coping saw, and we'll go from there. Okay, as you can see, I'm using one of these Viking style benches that we have out here at the school. I think I have a video of making these benches at one point in time, but we have about 10 of these out here we use around the fire pit. They also make great just work benches as well for working on. So we're going to go ahead and clamp so that we've got the area that we want to waste, or the area we're going to cut off, is offset from this 45. I've got it clamped down with a 2-inch clamp so that it can't move while I'm cutting it. And then we're going to just begin with our coping saw. And we're going to obviously cut outside the line a little bit. Keep that saw straight up and down so you're not at an angle. Okay, then we'll cut our corners off. Okay, now my suggestion would be that you get yourself a carving knife of your choice and just kind of go through there and get things shored up pretty close to the line there. All right, so now we're just sanding everything down to the line, getting everything evened up. This is not anywhere near the final sanding. We're just trying to get the final outline and profile there without a bunch of humps and bumps in it so that we can trace it off, okay? Okay, so we'll lay our knife back down here. We'll lay this on the knife and see where it lands, see where it winds up. It's pretty good. We got one little bitty high spot right here, looks like. We even all this stuff up, make sure it's right where we want it, and then we can kind of see where the high spots are at. Because remember, when you trace this thing out, the next one's going to be bigger than this one, right? So you want to kind of get this one as close as you can first. Take that down to the line, as flat as we can get it. Again, this is not the final sanding or anything, so it doesn't have to be completely perfect by any means. It just has to lay well on the knife so that we can make a second one. And we'll do the process all over again, except we'll use this one as our tracing pattern. So we'll lay it on here so it's flat against the back, straight up against that front edge. And we'll take our pencil and we'll draw that dude off. Remember, this is not our final sanding. All we're trying to do is get a good match on a set of handles here right now. They're pretty close. They're pretty close, for sure. pretty close. Now, the next trick here is to drill the holes for our scales, okay? We're gonna put our knife on top of the scale, exactly where we want it to lay. Get a little rain coming down now. Make sure that we're even everywhere. Extend our pencil out if we have to get ourselves a long piece of lead there. Just be as careful as you can not to break it. And there you go. Now, all right, guys, so we've allowed this thing the time it needs to dry, and I would recommend overnight, and that's exactly what I did. I let it dry overnight, and now we're gonna take these clamps off. So the next thing we have to deal with here, and one thing I should say, in this video is, I was looking through the footage I shot yesterday, and what I forgot to mention and didn't film, or at least I didn't have the camera on when I said it, I guess, I don't know. But before you put these handles on, clean this area off that you're gonna glue the handles to with some type of alcohol-based solution, like a hand sanitizer or straight alcohol, to make sure that you got a clean surface that you're gluing to and there's no oil or any residue on there from the process of making the blank at the forge there in Indiana, okay? Once you've done that, you glue your handles up. The next step is really gonna be to get rid of these protrusions where the brass pins are sticking out. We'll just cut that off with a quick hacksaw blade. I'm not a fan of a great big lanyard on my knife. I just want something that, if it's deep in the sheath and it's cold outside, I can grab it with a pair of gloves to kind of creep it up out of the sheath. That's all I'm really interested in, to tell you the truth. There's just a short leather lanyard's all I want on that thing. Cut that off, and then it's time to get that thing to the sharpening bench for sure. All right, let's get ourselves a little bit of stropping compound on our strop here. Rub that in real good. And we'll let it dry for 10 or 15 minutes after we coat it real good. And then we'll get after the final sharpening on this knife. Okay, once we got that, just register that bevel, pull it toward you, push it away from you, registering on the bevel every time, just like this. That'll knock that wire edge off and make that thing razor blade sharp. Now, I would not recommend putting this on a stone because it's got a secondary grind on it down to a wire edge. So all you're really trying to do is knock that wire edge off and give it that final polishing on the blade edge itself. And a strop with some good compound on it, like Tormek, will do that for you. A green compound will work as well. I just favor the Tormek. But it all works. And once you've gone, I don't know, 15, 20 strokes aside, maybe something like that, and you're convinced you've got that wire edge down, flip that strop over to the dry side or the polishing, buffing side, and do the same thing. Boy, that thing is a razor blade, I'm telling you. Man, oh man. Look at that, man. That thing is shaven hair sharp. Man, oh man, oh man. Whew. Goodness gracious. All right, guys, listen, I appreciate you joining me down here at the Pathfinder Outdoor Classroom for a look at how to finish up one of these Pathfinder Knife Shop knife kits. Pretty simple task, not real difficult. I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a specialty knife today to show you that you can do a lot with these kits. If you put your mind to it, you're gonna have a razor blade for a knife that will do well for you, bushcraft, survival, camp tasks, whatever it may be, this knife will do a good job for you. I appreciate your views, I appreciate your support. I thank you for everything you do for school, for family, and for business, for our sponsors, instructors, affiliates, and friends, and I'll be back with another video as soon as I can, guys. Thanks.